Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you coming. It's an honor to be invited to speak to you. I am the graduate school journey, so things I wish I had known as a graduate student. I'm going to come at it from several different ways. I am an associate professor in the University for Academic and Curricular Affairs at the University of Texas Science School of Biomedical Informatics. In that program this semester, we currently have 400 graduate students. So, and I'm responsible for all of our programs. So I've seen a lot of graduate students. I have a son who's just completing his PhD, so I've had up close and personal with a graduate student. So this is really going to be a discussion about what I'm hopeful I'm going to ask you some questions we can answer, and really just here to try to give you some hints about things you can do to make yourselves more successful now as a graduate student as well as for your future. So that's what I'm hoping to do here this evening. Next slide, please. So what am I going to talk about? First, I'm going to set the context what we mean when we talk about graduate school. Then I condensed my items that I want to discuss with you into 3 basic themes. So first one that we're going to discuss is educational. What should you be thinking about in terms of your education? Second one is personal, right? So as much as we might like to think of ourselves as these people who are just students, we still have a personal life, right? Family, friends. We've got, we've got activities that we need to take care of. So we need to, what do we need to do personally? And then professional. So if you're in graduate school, it is not too early for you to be thinking about what comes next and how do I best position myself for what comes next. So we're going to talk about professional. I'm going to do a brief summary and then I'll be happy to take questions and answers. Okay. Next slide, please. So setting the stage for graduate school. All right. First of all, congrats on getting your baccalaureate, right? Everybody's got a baccalaureate. You go to graduate school, you have to have a bachelor's degree. Awesome. Okay. And I will tell you that I have heard it said that a bachelor's degree is, so if we're just going to be black, right? Bachelor's degree is a new high school diploma. Okay. So that's pretty much means it's a minimum. Now, does that mean graduate school is for everyone? Absolutely not. This is for everyone. No, right? Okay, so why do you want a graduate degree? Anyone? Yes.
I love to learn. I never get tired of learning.
Love to learn. Never get tired of learning. That's a great reason. Now there are many different reasons and many different good reasons for why you might want to graduate degree. Anything else? Why do you want to graduate? It's going to open up more opportunities. And that is awesome. And in fact, one of the things I learned as I went through and earned my degrees is that with every degree that I've on, it opened, I went with a specific purpose in mind, right? But I always found that after I achieved that purpose, it opened up opportunities that I hadn't previously considered. So keep that in mind that it opens up not just the opportunities that you see, but many opportunities that you might not even be able to see at this point. So, anybody else? So for the School of Biomedical Informatics, we've actually done some market surveys, and typically we found that people who were pursuing a master's degree were pursuing it because they wanted a promotion or they wanted to get more money. And those are both valid reasons. That's an excellent reason to go back and get a national degree. Persons who were seeking a PhD were more likely to be interested in seeking a PhD because they had the love of learning, they were interested in building their knowledge base, so they came at it from a different perspective. So that's just for your knowledge. Are there bad reasons to seek a graduate degree? Do you think there's a bad reason to seek a graduate degree? So the worst reason I have ever encountered was a graduate student who was there because their parents made them. Okay. So totally, they're going through the motions, and I mean just going through the motions. Was in a PhD program, stayed there 7 or 8 years, can't remember exactly. In the end, was dismissed because never got to done. So after that entire time, walked out with the exact same thing they wanted. So bad reason. Okay. So if your parents are pressuring you, thanks mom and dad, get it, you want me to go get more education, figure out your motivation, your reason for going to get a graduate degree. Don't go with somebody else thinks that's what you should do. It's chance to do it, you won't be successful. Graduate school is hard. It's part of the bachelor's degree. And so, just have your own self-motivation for graduate school. Next slide, please. Okay, educational. First one, what got you here won't get you there. What do I mean by that? So anytime you move from one situation that you learn to operate well in to a new situation, so from high school to undergrad to grad, even from master's to PhD, okay, you are going to have to acquire new skills and a story, right? You're going to have to figure out, you may have to develop new study habits. You may have to reorganize how you run your life. But what got you here won't get you there. And I have a story about that. So my son went into graduate school, and his first semester, so they started after Labor Day, so it's like the first or second week of October, and he gets panicked call. Mom, I had my first test and I got a 52. Okay, this is from someone who really doesn't understand like grades that go over 90. Okay, yeah, 52. Now, he was within the standard deviation for the mean. And they said anyone who was within the standard deviation for me, you should consider yourself okay, but still just the number, right? That number freaked him out. So I empathized with him for a couple of minutes, right? Okay. And then I went into my academic dean mode and I said, okay, so now what are they offering you in the way of assistance? So they admitted we admit people into graduate programs because we want them to be successful. We believe they will be successful. Okay? And so they admitted him because they wanted him and they believed he would be successful. I said, so they have resources. So, and you may need to change how you study. You're gonna have to learn new skills. All right. So I immediately became unsympathetic, right? Because that's what happens when you go into a new situation, is you have to acquire new skills, okay? If you are not You need to get organized. And what does that look like? I don't know what that looks like for you. I know what organized looks like for me. I know what it looked like for me when I was in graduate school. I can't tell you what it looks like for you. I can only tell you to come up with something, right, that works for you. Right now, as a professional, I live and die on my calendar. It's on my calendar, I'm not going to be there. It's on my calendar, I'm going to be there. I even set reminders for things that are due. So right now we're grading some qualifying exams at school, and I've got some grading to do. And so I put due date on my calendar, and I give it like a week advance notice, right? So it's going to start reminding. Okay, so whatever it takes for you to get organized. Now, and this might include, again, now we're talking about graduate school. How many people here have really graphic or citation software that you use regularly? Uh-oh. Okay. Can you say that again? It's bibliographic or citation software that you use regularly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it could be EndNote, it could be RefWorks, it could be Zotero, it could be Mendeley, and there's a lot of them out there. So if you don't have something like that where you're gathering all of your resources, okay, you can start now. Start yesterday, because you're going to need that, right? You're going to need to be able to refer to articles you've read, articles you've been asked to read in class, textbooks, where can I find different data and information that I might need as I'm working through graduate school. Okay, so get organized. Connect with faculty and other graduate students. These are your colleagues right now. Even the faculty are. And whatever field you're going into, at some point you're going to have a revelation that it's actually a pretty small world. Especially in your field, whatever that is, right? So I'm in informatics. I don't know, feels like a gajillion people, right? But as you continue on in your educational journey and your professional journey, the same will happen to you. You will read papers, and you're like, ooh, I'd like to meet that person. Or you'll go to a conference for a poster or a paper and you'll meet a lot of people, okay? But right now, your faculty and your classmates, your other graduate students, they're your colleagues. Well, guess what? Your faculty they have their own network. And your fellow graduate students, when you say they're going to graduate, they're going to go out and work, and then they become a part of your network that extends even further because that's the way the world works. All right. So get to know those people. I got my first job out of undergrad because the person who hired me went to my faculty and asked for a reference. So you need to be treating your faculty like that too, right? They're potential references for you. So get to know them, learn about them, interact professionally with them, and they become a part of your network. Be involved in your own classes. So congratulations for already doing that. Okay. But look for other opportunities too. Now I know ARC has the ARC boot camp. We offer the boot camp continuing this summer. Is there an internship that you can get engaged in? Are you joining the clubs that are here on campus, the relevant clubs that are here on campus? Do you have a graduate student club? Does anybody know? Graduate student organization? Ooh, somebody's found the community graduate student organization. Okay, you can put that on your CV, I think ever. You founded it, okay? Maybe you were the inaugural president, right? How cool would that look on your CV or resume? All right. So get involved beyond classes in some shape, form, or fashion. Because it's not just all about classes, and especially when you're going for that first job after you study, it's about showing that you're a well-rounded person and that you can take the initiative. It's very easy for people just to go to class. That's like, okay, that's sort of the minimum. That's just the basics. All right. But now you're getting involved in other organizations. You're showing that you've got motivation. You've also got the self-discipline to be in classes and to do other activities. So get involved. Utilize all of your resources. So Tana was up there talking about a tremendous number of resources that our program has for you. Utilize that. You should always utilize all of your resources, whether it's educationally or later in your professional life. Utilize all of your resources. It makes you that much more effective. No one does it all. No one. No one. Anybody tells you they did it all on their own, they're lying. All right? They're very arrogant when they're lying. You can just smile at them and say, oh, I'm a student, and move on. Okay? You don't need to insult them. You just say, well, that's special. Move on. Okay? Or you can yourself. You can say, bless your heart. Yeah. One of the resources I wanted to especially mention, how many people here have gone for help from the library? Ooh, okay. Okay. Not recently, but undergraduate, yes. But when we're one of my classes like 2 years ago. Okay. So if you're working on a thesis or a project or anything like that in grad school, you need to utilize the librarians. All right. They can save you an immense amount of time and effort. Right? They know how to search the databases to maximum effectiveness, rather than you sort of going down rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole, searching for what you want. They know the search terms. They know how the different databases structure their search terms. They're just, we actually have classes where we make our students go talk to the librarians. So utilize all of your resources. You have a lot of them here at TNB. So, okay. Next slide, please. Okay. Personal. All right. Yeah. Have a support system outside of school. Have people that you can hang with, or just people you can go right to. Okay. People that you can just go have fun with, because we can't be all school all the time. There are times when it has to be your focus, right? Where you're working on something where for even maybe a couple of months, you have to focus, okay? But you also need to schedule time to have fun, right? And have a support system. It could be friends, it could be family, just do it, right? Practice healthy habits and self-care. Eat right, exercise, get enough sleep by and large. I see somebody nodding there, no. Hey, you gotta figure it out. You gotta figure it out. Yeah, you gotta figure it out. You can run on a little sleep for a limited amount of time, but from 5 to 6 years. Yep. Okay. Wow. Take care of yourself. Okay. So make that a priority. In fact, again, I'll go back to my son. Studying and calling like, Mom, I'm studying and I'm not learning anything. And I said, I know how long you study. It's studying. You tell me, and I said, you know what? Why don't you go take a run? I can't afford to afford not to go. I said, because actually what the research shows is that if you take a break, you go away, and then you come back, you actually remember more. Okay, and so it can be hard. It can be very hard to get into those kinds of habits, but help yourself do that. I often will, if I'm working on a hard problem, I've even been known to tell people, I'll get back to you in a couple of days about that. Because I know myself now what will happen is my brain works so well, I sleep when I'm in the shower, I get the solution. When I'm in the shower, I don't know why, but that's when the solution comes to me. And then I'm like, oh, I got the answer, we're good. So be realistic with your time and your money. Okay. So there's a lot of pressure sometimes to say you have to do it all right away. And you don't. You don't. So I got my bachelor's degree, I went to work, and then I got my master's degree while I was working. And then I actually had a hiatus of 12 years before I went back and got my PhD. Again, while I was working and when I already had a family at that point. Okay. Now, do I recommend that for everybody? No, because I'm not yes. But if you're in a situation where money is an issue, you need to work, then you need to find graduate programs that allow you to go part-time. Okay. Or you need to say, I'm going to take a break for a couple of years and I'm going to live really slowly and I'm going to save up my money and I'm going to go back. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You don't get any extra points. Nobody gives you extra points for finishing at the age of 27 or 28 versus 34, 35, or in my case, 43. Okay? Any extra point. If you're looking at the calendar and you have at least a decade yet to work, you have time to get that graduate degree and have it. So just be realistic about it. Don't put yourselves in hundreds of thousands of dollars a day that you can't get out of. So, learn how to operate out of your comfort zone. So stretching yourself. And I put this under personal because it can come in a lot of different ways. We all have things that we get very comfortable in. It could be applying to your dream school where you're thinking, I am never going to get in there. When you know the only way you know you're never going to get in there is you don't apply. You may not get in there, but you may. So, go out of your comfort zone, go a little bit further than just what's familiar to you. So stretch yourself. Will it be hard? Yes. When do I feel like I feel the most is when I went out of my comfort zone. When I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Oh my gosh, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this? Right? This is really hard. I just want to quit. That was when things were out. And then imposter syndrome, and I put a question mark there. Anybody here ever suffered from imposter syndrome? Yeah, I have. Okay. Yeah, are you familiar with imposter syndrome? So it's where you feel like they're going to figure out that I have no business being here doing what I'm doing. Okay. And unless you're narcissistic, unless you have ultimate self-confidence at some point in your life, there's probably going to suffer from imposter syndrome. And the only thing to do is to keep on. Say, here's what I know, here's what I don't know, and to keep moving forward. And I will tell you, it is okay not to know things. There are a lot of things that I don't know. Right? There are some things I know really well, some things I know pretty well, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff that I've got no idea about. And I've gotten to the point where I feel what he's saying. I don't know. Can you tell me about that? And usually somebody's very kind to talk to me about whatever it is that I don't know. So it's okay if you feel from the top fear if you feel like an imposter sometimes, but we just keep moving forward. Okay. Something. Okay, professional. Now it's going to start networking. So I already in the educational, I talked about your faculty and your colleagues, and I told you about my first job out of school. And so I moved from Houston, Texas to Boston, Massachusetts to Virginia to Rochester, Minnesota to Duluth, Minnesota to Temple, Texas to San Antonio, Texas, and now to back to Houston, Texas. Multiple jobs. Anybody want to guess how many times I took a job where I didn't already know someone? Any guesses? Not zero. One. And all of those moves, and all of those times when I switched jobs, there's one time where I went to a job where I didn't know someone. So network starting now. And that goes with the second one, which is become a student member of the professional organizations. And I say it like that. So we have several professional organizations in informatics. I always encourage our students to become student members of them for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's cheaper than regular membership. But number two, many of those professional organizations are offering benefits to their student members. So for example, in one of our organizations that we have in informatics, they give scholarships. But to receive a scholarship, you have to be a member. So you can't even apply for the scholarship if you're not a member. Okay? They also offer paid positions as student workers at their annual conference. Well, that's pretty cool. All the student has to pay for is the flight to and from the conference. Everything while they're at the conference is covered. Okay, and they work at the conference, and they get to go hear talks, and they get to go meet people, and get to network. Right? So becoming a student member of any part of professional organizations, I would say, is very important. Depending on the work you do, it could even help you get your work known. So, very important. Keep your resume updated. I'm good at stuff, not adequate, right? And y'all have a person here and they can help you do a killer resume that's pertinent to your area. Keep it updated because you never know what somebody's going to say. Like if you go to that professional organization meeting, take some copies with you. All right, because you never know what somebody's going to say. Oh, it might be perfect for you. LinkedIn is sort of a corollary to that. I know Career Services is going to talk to y'all in December, but having your LinkedIn profile, having it up to date, having it accurate, all of that kind of thing, those are things that are just, it's very professional. I actually have a reminder on my calendar and every month now, update my CV. Because otherwise, it's a year, and then I'm like, oh, now I'm feeling working what I did. That's not a good way to do it. Okay. So I do it monthly. Make an effort to help others. And by that, I mean, right now, some of you may have just started your graduate studies and maybe you're a little further along, but you're being mentored by the faculty, you're being mentored by maybe higher level graduate students. But there are undergraduates here on campus. Okay? And some of them are looking at you and going, ooh, I don't do that now. So make an effort to help others. It will come back tenfold. I know from our students, I always learn a lot, but it's one of the things that will help you to be a good colleague and co-worker, again, in your professional life, is how you help others. You're not just doing the minimum, but if you see someone who needs assistance, you're helping them, or they come to you with a question, you're helping them. So make sure you reach out to others if needed. And then finally, as a professional, the learning is just beginning. All right, when you graduate with your degree, whatever that degree is, okay, great, you know a lot of stuff. That's awesome. Now you have a lot of other stuff to learn. And hopefully, you will continue doing that for the rest of your professional life. We are at the point in our world now where you're really, I mean, it's maybe English, maybe some history, right? Not certainly not modern history, but some history, like early American history. You could get away with, okay, maybe I don't need to keep up, but everything else in the world is changing. And that change is only accelerating. It's not going to slow down. So skills that you learn, tools that you learn how to use, all of that, you're going to have to keep learning and evolving. And in fact, I was earlier today, we were at an event and Dr. Kilburn got up and he said that 50% of the hottest jobs, of those that will be the hottest jobs by the year 2030, have not even been conceived yet. So we don't even know what they are yet. And they're going to be some of the hottest jobs in the year 2030, which is a short 8 years away. It might seem like it's forever, it's not. It's going to go by and move. So your learning is just beginning. We need to think about your education like this, setting the foundation, and then hopefully you'll be able to take it and build on it for the rest of your career. I mean, if you think about it, let's say you do go straight through and you get your PhD by the age of 28. Guess what? You still got a good 40 years to go. Unless you happen to be one of the people who gets it rich, you still got a good 40 years to go. That's a long, long time. 40 years in the past from where we are now. Cell phones were essentially very big boxy things that in their social cars. Okay. So the internet was actually called darknet. Everybody knows that, right? So it came out of the DoD. So yeah, lots and lots of change. So learning is just beginning. All right, next slide, please. All right. Grad school is hard. Yes, it is. I tell our doctoral students who are coming in, where we do special orientations with our doctoral students, and I tell our doctoral students who are coming in that if they don't have at least one existential crisis while they're in their program, they're not doing it right. Okay. Like, you gotta have a crisis, you gotta have one who say, I just can't schedule breakdown. Right? Right? We have to have that schedule breakdown. But it's hard. So if graduate school were easy, then everyone would do it. There's no reason that more people get their baccalaureate degrees and get their master's degrees and get their doctoral degrees. And that's because it's hard. And man, please have a plan All right, that is one of the things that I see students fail at the most, is not having a plan. Yeah, do plans change? Absolutely. Does any plan have never gone exactly as planned? No, right? Plans change, but have a plan. The reason you need to have a plan is because you want to prevent a fatal error. Well, what do I mean by a fatal error? Well, we have people who get to their last semester and they haven't taken no partners. Uh-oh. Oh, and guess what? That course is not offered this semester. All right. Have a plan. We keep a 2-year course rotation on our website. They could have planned. They didn't plan. Okay. So planning and organization is absolutely essential. Be prepared. By that, I mean, buy your books, read the books, do the work. All of that stuff about, preparation. At the same time, be flexible. So again, I'm going to go back to my professional grad student. All the way through his doctoral studies, he was absolutely sure he was going to go into academia. He was going to do, he was going to do research, and he was good to go. He was even doing where he was doing studies, they had fellowship programs, and he thought they wanted to be faculty, he did those programs. He had a plan, right? He was doing all of this stuff. So about a year, maybe 9 months before graduation, and they're doing a career fair thing. And so he's looking for a postdoc position. He's going to get into academia, he's going to do a postdoc, he's going to continue to build his research, and then he's going to be a faculty member. So he loaded his resume, because you had to do that, you had to load the resume to the career day, and industry administration. So he's about to start a job in industry. Because they made an offer he can refuse. Okay, so flexibility, and what I told him when he was asking was, you want to slip into academia, that's really, if you decide you don't like it, you decide you don't like industry, that's not what you want to do, you can always come to academia later. I can do academia in 20 years in industry. So, so that flexibility, and some of that comes with, you've got the degree, and now it's going to go more to you didn't even know were there, like they were hidden in the wall with the wallpaper, right? And all of a sudden you got the degree and the door opens and you're like, oh, that was what I didn't do, what should I do? We need to sit down and you can assess. And that's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine to go in a direction depending on what you're planning on. Okay, so yeah, have your plan, be prepared, but also be flexible, because you never know what's going to come around the corner. That because you got a graduate degree, you might now be well positioned to take advantage of. So I got my bachelor's. I took 6 months off, and then I went back and started my master's while I was working. I got my master's, and then a year after I graduated with my master's, I applied for a job, and a master's degree was preferred. But I had a master's degree. I already had it. I didn't have to go get it. And everybody else who applied only had a bachelor's degree. That's how I got the job. And so that was a situation where, because I had gone on and I'd forgotten that, even though it wasn't the reason I got it, right? I was chosen for a job that I really, really wanted over other people because I was prepared.
Thank you.